Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's tournament. It's the Ghost 4v4 Search and Destroy for September 26th. It is myself, Lando, joined by Taylor Keating. And Taylor, we're getting ready to hop in here toward our first map between Hunnit and TheSandLot. Should be a pretty interesting series, but of course heading into tonight's tournament, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. A little tired, but I'm ready to cast some beautiful Call of Duty. We've got some S&D stars that I'd love to see play right now, so I'm ready to get going.
Absolutely. Of course, we're going transfer to the game. Of course, Match number 1 will be taking place on Freight, as we've got Hunnit, which consists of Blastful, Felony, Rallied, and Pharaoh, versus the side of TheSandLot, which is Drafty, Aquanic, T, and Sham Wow. Starting things off with Aquanic, not playing with his usual duo. However, still playing this one out. Actually, usually plays with Hugs and co. on teams like Gold Blood, plays with Formal as well, but it seems that he has been changing things up for tonight. Switching things with Drafty, as he's able to at least find the only kill so far of this round. Of course, things starting to change around, and now T left in a 1v2 scenario and does have that sniper in his back pocket. However, Bomb is down right now, Taylor.
Well, it's Blastful and Ferocities is left alive, two of the best S&D stars we have in the game right now. They've been playing a lot of Ghost S&D lately. Blastful with a Thermal. As you can see that they're both kind of bunched up together, one side to side. They spot them and get the kill. First round goes to Hunnit.
It is indeed a stronghold. It looks like Blastful finding the hat trick in round number 1. Of course, 3. The most important one, of course, is the one at the end. Kind of an interesting offensive push coming in from the side of SandLot. However, didn't work out in the end. Only T and Drafty were able to find kills. I think it was automatically like a 2v3 or 2v4 scenario to start off the round. So kind of interesting stuff coming in. I'm going to be looking on board with Blastful heading into this round number 2. Of course, like I said, already finding 3 kills. But if there's anything we know about this opposite side of the side of Hunnit here, Taylor, is that they've got some very talented guys on this lineup. And one of them actually being Rallied, who does actually find that first blood, funny enough, just announced that he actually is going to be now on the Air Eternity roster alongside of Dito and Havoc. I want to know your thoughts on that new roster that's kind of been forming over time. I know all the announcements have kind of come over different periods and whatnot, but who do you think could be the potential fourth, and what do you think of the team so far?
Well, I talked to Dito actually on, I want to say Monday. We talked about his new roster, Havoc, obviously, and then you just mentioned Rallied. And Rallied is an S&D star by trade. There's a lot of S&D stars coming into the variant mix to try to make their stand. The E6 roster has a lot of S&D stars, Bevels, Decimate. Yep. Dashi, previous S&D star, he played Infinite Warfare with First Rate Rippin' at COD Champs, but Dito's not sure. He said that one of the things that stood out to me, saying that these S&D stars are being underestimated, that they win these tournaments and they make a lot of money doing it. They might not necessarily be in the pro league, but they clearly have the smarts to play with the pros, because the pros seem to be itching to get an S&D star to play for these tourneys. So I like the S&D stars making the move. It'll see if it'll pay off for these teams.
Oh, sorry. As soon as you were saying that, Felony just completely decides to whip his POV over toward Aquanic and shuts him down. But yeah, kind of getting back on that conversation a little bit. It is kind of an interesting mix because, like you said, at the exact same kind of date, really, or as far as announcements are considered, we see a set of Air Eternity announced, of course, adding Rallied, who's a very competent and very well-known S&D star himself, and then 3 new players, 2 of them being well-known S&D stars as well, alongside Dashi on now the Enigma 6 crew. So it's kind of, to me, a very interesting scenario that we're seeing both of these teams be in, because E6 has done this in the past. They've taken, 4 guys. Of course, at this time, it's General who's kind of leading the way. We've seen them kind of, gather a bunch of unconceived talent back in Advanced Warfare, start to make a run with that particular lineup, which obviously consisted of different players at the time. And we've also seen Dito do the exact same thing in Advanced Warfare as well with Isolation Empire. So, I mean, these organizations, these guys are doing different things. As Drafty completely destroys Pharaoh in that one-on-one. Not sure if his POV was kind of messed up there due to laying prone, but very nice shot there coming in from Drafty. But regardless of that, it's been kind of an interesting conversation back and forth, especially, Taylor, with the... I think it's fair to say that maybe like the last year and a half, we've seen like the argument between professional players, along with S&D stars. Like, can S&D stars hang? Can they play? When it comes into respawns and whatnot. And it seems that, well, at least for right now, organizations, players, they're taking the risk. I think that that comes along with grabbing these very talented online players by definition.
Well, I think if we're watching right now, Felony is an SD star himself, technically. That's where he started out. He made the switch, and it's clearly worked out. If you go back and you think about Zuma was an SD star back in Ghost, the game that we're watching right now, and that's clearly worked out as well. So I think these teams, and Dito harped on it, he's saying he's just looking for people that are hungry and are willing to play. He even mentioned that Saneville kind of was wanting to play with Dito in World War II, and he was kind of like, man, I'm looking for these young, hungry kids that can grind and play 10 hours a day, because that's something that I don't think a lot of these retired pros are ready for.
Oh yeah, that's a great point to bring up as well, because of course that grind does come into it. When World War II's up, man, you cannot slack by any means, and not to obviously hate on guys who are coming back, but the scene's different now. You guys obviously got the different lineups that are kind of coming back. You got the lineup of Pikachu and Domo, who've obviously made their name, coming back into the space as well. Not that they're not prepared for that, but it's just the grind, the overall way that the game plays, the competitive space is so much different than it used to be. And I definitely agree with that point, that I'm very curious to see how they perform, because as of right now, I would definitely be going for the quick, very talented guys over the guys who haven't played in 2, 3, 4 years, if you do include some of them. So I think it's definitely a very interesting conversation to be brought up. But one that I have to say, I am still very surprised that we're seeing this amount of S&D stars up to this point. And like I said, Air Eternity, they haven't announced their 4th player. I know there's a lot of rumors going around, a lot of speculation on not just Twitter but Reddit as well, going about saying, could they pick up a guy like Pharaoh? Could they pick up a guy like Blastful? What's the final player to go for? As it looks like Blastful and Pharaoh at the exact same time pick up 3 of the 4 kills. But regardless, though, what's the lineup looking for when it comes down to them? And it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, to be honest with you, if they do pick up yet again another known S&D player.
And just as you say that, it's down to Felony and Rally, the two S&D stars that have made the switch. Guy looking for the last kill, he's got shots on him, and finish him off. Kind of piggyback back on that is that somebody that I've been thinking about that really hasn't been talked about on any roster for some reason. If you look on Reddit, the rumors, is Study. I'm so confused where Study's going to go, because there's a lot of a team of 3s. Parasite's team obviously has been kind of shaky, and who knows what's going on with that.
Right.
We've obviously mentioned Era's team, and if they would pick up another S&D star, maybe. I don't know if they take another gamble on 2 S&D stars, but we'll have to see. But Study is somebody who I've been thinking about lately, and it's kind of confusing me to see his name not pop up anywhere.
Yeah, there's been like a few names or like a few rosters that have kind of come up and kind of dissipated over time, whether it's been just due to lack of interest, or if it's just been because things are starting to die out. Granted, I personally believe that the roster changes, in my opinion, happening a little bit too early, just because we've only played 2 weekends. Of the beta and whatnot, but still, kind of rosters are starting to kind of dwindle as far as like predictions and whatnot. Like I know, I think it was yesterday, Sensor posting a video saying that he's not going to be playing for FaZe anymore. So that kind of leaves an open spot potentially that people were kind of saying, is Priest going to be joining the lineup? Is Replays coming back to join with this team, since it's now officially, at least based on paper, attached in Zuma? What's the roster going to be for that team? I know Zuma's been tweeting out that, changes are coming, announcement coming soon. Well, is he still on FaZe? What's the overall consensus around that? But, I really don't know what to make of these roster changes, to be honest with you. I just think that they are happening, in my opinion, a little bit too early. But at the same time, it just goes to show that the talent pool is increasing, because it's not just, we have to pick up these guys. It's like, hey, there's a lot of guys out there. There's former pros who are coming back. There's the talent that's below, of course, known as S&D stars, who are also there as well. There's a wide pool, so it's very easy to kind of get caught up in the mix, which is what potentially we could be seeing guys like Sensor, guys like Study, a number of different pros, start to lose themselves just because of the amount that there is available.
And I don't know if we talked about this on last week's tournament, but Neslo, Sharp, Wheats, and who's their 4th? Neslo, Sharp, Wheats, and can't think of the names right now, but it's a veteran. But it's interesting to see that veterans are kind of sticking together. Younger players are kind of sticking together. These S&D stars are kind of sticking together. It's going to be really interesting to see the mix of S&D stars with these kind of Call of Duty veterans, especially on boots on the ground, because we haven't really seen these S&D stars, this many at least, come all in one game. So it should be interesting to see the combination between retired pros and S&D stars.
Yeah, I think you were missing Stainville as the 4th.
Stainville,
yeah. I know we just talked about. I know it's kind of hard to remember some of the rosters that have been formed, but yeah, I mean, regarding that team, I really don't know what to make of it. I know there was rumors with Neslo trying to be on the Echo Fox organization that he obviously ends up leaving that team. Wheats, of course, has been a number of different rosters, at least as of recently, hasn't seen a whole lot of success for now, as a team kill actually comes in from Blastful, shuts down Felony in a pretty awkward spot, but regardless, currently in a 1-on-2 spot. But some of the rosters, in my opinion, is T will find the snipe and will be guaranteed at least 2 more rounds. But regardless, as the discussion kind of goes on, I really don't know what to make about some of these teams. It's just been kind of a, I don't know if it's just a comfort picks. I think honestly it has to do with comfort picks that we're seeing teams, organizations make for right now. Like, not that the skill isn't there, but just some of the combinations that players are coming up with heading into World War II. Not just the rumored teams, but even teams like this one with Neslo and Sharp, Wheat and Stainville. Like, what kind of combination is that? Like, is it just the fact of, hey, you guys want to play?
Right.
Yeah, we'll play. That's fine. We'll go and start a team. But it's just, I don't know. To me, the organizations and the teams that are forming right now just are kind of scattered, and I think it's just because World War II is not out. And I hope that starts to get more, finited as time goes on, because a lot of these teams, I don't think that we're going to see make or last for that long. We can start even more roster manias.
Yeah, I think it really just depends on those first couple of tournaments. A lot of these teams are going to be done within the first 3 months, I feel like. I think it's just, again, you said it's kind of early. I mean, I think the beta kind of got everyone excited, and then they kind of forgot that, hey, maybe there's like 50 or 60 days left until, I think it's 40-ish now. So it's a long time in terms of Call of Duty time, because Call of Duty, for the most part, has always been going tournaments, and now it kind of slows down. There's an off season. It's kind of more traditional. So it's going to be interesting to see if they actually, like, let's say you make a roster during the beta. That's 60 days before the game actually comes out. You get 20 days before the game comes out, and you're kind of like, I don't know if we made the right move. Other these people has made these moves. And then the game comes out, and you guys start playing with each other on the actual game, and you guys start losing tournaments, losing scrims, and you're kind of like, what did we just do? Like, what was I thinking?
Right.
Maybe I should have went for that S&D star, that young gun, instead of someone like Stainville, or maybe the opposite. Maybe I should have gone for Stainville, the veteran pro, the guy who's played forever, since the dawn of Call of Duty. So it's going to be interesting to see, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Of course, hopping into the game really quickly. 1-on-1 at the moment, ShamWow versus Felony, and ShamWow actually finds Felony. He needs to try to escape, but the question is, no, he actually ends up dropping. But can Felony get there? He's trying to run as fast as he possibly can. Getting it here in time for the defuse? I don't know. This one's going to be really close.
He got it.
This one's going to be incredibly close. Did he get the defuse in time is the question. Felony, yes, narrowly gets the defuse, and that's now going to put the side of Hunnit up 5 rounds to 4. I know we've obviously been discussing, a number of different Call of Duty topics, especially as of roster changes at the moment, but this first map, getting pretty exciting. I was not really super familiar with at least the 2 players of ShamWow and T. Just haven't really seen them in our tournaments, at least streamed matches. Of course, do know the names of Drafty and Aquanic, but really wasn't sure what this team was going to provide. But they're kind of hanging in there. They're at least forcing a map, or a round 10, excuse me. So.
Well, I remember Drafty from the tournament I casted last week. He had a gold vector, so I definitely remember who he was.
God.
I won't start with the gold vectors again this tournament, but as Blastful gets sick, it's Felony and rallied left alone with ShamWow and Aquanic. ShamWow, I've really never seen play. Aquanic, I'm familiar with, but it should be interesting to see this full map set plan out as we kind of have like 4 of the dominant S&D stars, probably the top guys. If you ranking the S&D stars against some of the tier 2, tier 3 S&D players, so should be interesting to see, that's for sure. It's a 4v5 round count right now.
It looks like Aquanic going to see rally just for the moment, and it looks like the other kill will come in as well. That one from ShamWow on to Felony. So we will be seeing a round 11 here for map 1. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, these are best of 3, so that's something to keep in mind. The maps mean even more. So 1 round to decide our map 1. Of course, this one on Freight. Map number 2 will actually be S&D on Sovereign, and map 3 will be S&D on Warhawk if it does come down to it. Of course, the likelihood of that map 3 being seen gets dictated by moments and rounds like this. Offensive team is going to be the side of Sandlot. We'll see how they can try and make things happen as Aquanic finds the first blood, T finding the second one, and now Pharaoh and Rallied left in a 2v4. Rally sitting in red, and Pharaoh just outside of fire, already receiving some shots. His position is known, and he has to stay alive in this spot here, Taylor, and he actually is able to make that one happen. At the same time, Rally finds one as well. So now a 2-on-2. Rally backs up, and we could be seeing a 2v4 clutch here for the victory, but no, Rally drops, and now it's up to Pharaoh.
Pharaoh all by himself in a 1v1 situation against OT. They're very close to each other. Awesome. And Pharaoh goes down. No way. So the I called them the tier 2, tier 3 S&D stars take down the tier 1 S&D stars in Hunnit. In map number 1 going to map number 2, it'll be Sovereign S&D.
Dita Will, a very interesting play there at the end, and honestly good positioning there coming in from T. Kind of being at that top area, kind of jumps off that roof, and I guess you could say the higher leverage advantage kind of comes into play, but double digits actually coming in from, I believe that was both T and Drafty. And on the opposite side, Pharaoh also finishes off with 10 kills as well. So a very interesting map one that we obviously weren't able to discuss too much as far as the gameplay is considered, because we got to talk about the topics that are going down in the scene right now. But of course, still a victory for the Sandlot as far as map number 1 is considered. The question being, how will Sovereign play out? I want to get your thoughts, Taylor, on this one. I know we got to see Sandlot play a little bit, obviously, in map number 1. We ended up seeing big games coming in from Drafty and T. Do you think they could replicate that in map number 2?
I don't know, man. I think I'd like to see this other team, Hunnit, make a little bit of a nice comeback as a down one map. Is this the first round of the tournament?
Yeah, it's round number 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see Pharaoh and company and Felony leaving the tournament this soon. I think they're gonna bounce back with this Sovereign map, and then we'll see on map 3.
Absolutely agree. Well, we'll see obviously how that does play out, guys. S&D on Sovereign when we come back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Goes 4v4 Search and Destroy for September 26th. It is myself, Lano, joined by Taylor Keating. And Taylor, we've got here in round number 1, Hunnit going up against Sandlot. And to at least my surprise, I think yours as well, Sandlot ended up taking a round 11 victory on Freight and are now currently up 1-0 in this series. I want to get your thoughts when it comes down to map number 2. Of course, this one is on Sovereign, a different map, but it still kind of plays a similar pace. Of course, those close-range engagements are very key when it comes into both of these. And at least for map number 1, like I said, it did go Sandlot's way, but I know we're both kind of favoring Hunnit. Give me a score line. What are you thinking as far as the score will be for map 2?
I think it might be a 6-5.
6-5
Just by,
again?
it looks like Drafty and Aquanics team are looking real nice right now. 6-5 again. I think Freight and Sovereign kind of play the same, as you said. They're kind of same pace. Obviously, the B site's heavily favored on this site, kind of like the A site on Freight. So it'll be interesting to see. I really would love to see Blatzfellow and Rail Daddy and Ferocities come back and give us a map 3. But I don't know, man. Drafty's looking strong, 2-0, and oh man. Drafty's putting in shots into War Room, but it gets cleaned up as Ferocities goes down. It'd be interesting to see. I would literally like to go map 3, that's for sure.
Definitely possible. Well, of course, OTO currently on the flank has the pistol on, swaps to the Remington just to solidify the kill. So finds Felony, pistol up close, but the knife to the heart comes in from Blastful. Nice response there, but Aquanic is granted at least 1. Can he find the second? Gets hit markers, and now Drafty from the skies should be able to at least get somewhat of a vantage point, but it seems that Blastful has escaped for now, wrapping his way back toward that B site. Might have spotted one over toward that cross, so knows that push toward A is definitely one that is in the playbook at the moment. Blackpool up close, spots one, and now Aquanic from afar, but can he finish up the gunfight? Not going to be there, and Drafty will be able to solidify that one, as it now will be a 2-0 as far as round count, and now Drafty as well, up to 3-0. So looking pretty good. Definitely the major factor as to why the side of the Sandlot is not just up in this map, but up in the series as well.
Interesting to see Drafty has 3 attachments on his Remington, not usually seen, at least by me, in tournaments. But again, Drafty 3-0, starting off hot. It'll be interesting to see if they can bounce back. Hopefully they can. Drafty is he's a great player. He played in the last tournament I watched last Thursday. I like to see him as it goes 3v3 with that nade kill. Bombs down though, could be good for mid and squad.
Interesting push being made. Now it's on a 2-on-2. Drafty shooting one on Blastful. trying to keep that flawless record up. Spots one through middle. Nice assistant shots there coming in from Aquatic, and just like that, it's left up to Felony, a one-on-one. Shuts down Aquatic and just has to stay alive. Very, very important gunfight to win, but no, Drafty is going to be there. And yet again, Drafty is there for the clutch kill. He'll solidify this round as well. And also remaining flawless at 5-0. Drafty coming out of nowhere, man. This guy's on a tear.
He is going off. I mean, I talked about him so much last week about his stupid gold gun. And I remember, honestly, I remember him going off on Sovereign as well. So maybe this is his map. Maybe this is his map, his game mode to take down these Tier 1 S&D stars, the most popular guys on Twitter in terms of S&D stars. Should be interesting to see, though. It's 3-0. It's going to be hard for a comeback, that's for sure.
Absolutely will. As it looks like a slow offensive play right now for TheSandLot. For now, great movie at that, a classic. As a Drafty making his way up top.
Tier 1 baseball movie.
Absolutely. But Rally shutting down a few. That push inside B not being made a likely one, is now it's up to Aquatic and a 1-on-3. Spots one on Blastful, goes for the jump shot actually. Tries to anticipate that player running down the stairs, but in the end it will be, I believe, a hat trick in that round there for Rally as he finds 3 kills, I want to say. But regardless, we'll get the one that matters the most, the one at the end. As that's finally a round on the board for the side of Hunnit. One that they desperately needed. I don't think they could afford to go down 4-0 when you got Drafty and Aquatic both playing so well.
Listen, man, Drafty is 5-1, Aquatic's 5-4. These are kind of the guys we already know. Obviously, OT and Shamwow can't be discredited, but if Drafty and Aquatic keep this up, it could be a good night for Team Hunnit.
Definitely possible. Well, T making a very aggressive rush. Do not believe that his position is currently known. Spots one coming in toward map room. And this is still a very good point to hold. He's going to be able to at least find one and tries to find the second as well and plays the timing perfectly. Shuts down 2, and here's the third. The knife to the heart as he'll shut down Blastful. And now Felly left all by himself, and T finds all 4. What an insane play there from T. Yeah, man, he just waits. He waits the perfect timing and uses great trigger discipline. Of course, the double knife and the final kill cam. That was an incredibly played round there from T.
Lunge a little bit there, though. That commando lunge was a little bit reminiscent of Modern Warfare 2, but nonetheless, he gets a 2-piece in the kill cam, which was amazing. He got an ace, actually.
Yeah, finds all 4 kills. Very, very impressive play. Ones like that, especially Orta being up so much in this round, can be devastating for the opposite side, as it currently has 4 rounds to 1. A major comeback needed for Hunnit, not just in this map, but in the series as well, because if they lose this map, they're out of the tournament and only just round at number 1, which is by no means expected for such a talented lineup as this one. Still looking on board, but Drafty up close and personal gunfight on this A site will lose him his life. And now T, you got to replicate things, my man. Currently has found at least 1 kill so far in this round, but a 1-on-2. You don't have to find all of them, but still a very awkward position to currently be in. And could, if he plays his cards right, could spot out both players lingering as he shuts down 1. Blastful now the last alive, and I believe that bomb has not been grabbed yet from T as he's wrapping his way through, and Blastful does not spot him, at least for the moment, I do not believe. So we'll see what the play call is here from T now, as these players are actually getting ready to meet up. We'll see who has the quicker reaction. T tries to go for the shots, but Blastful is there, and a much-needed 1v1 win for the side of Hunnit, as Blastful is there to answer the call.
I'm not sure if he saw him or not. He might have. He might have saw him a peek on caution, but I think that's just one person sprinting and one person putting up their gun a little bit before. Sometimes you got to remember on those 1v1s that checking corners and pre-aiming is always your friend.
Absolutely is, and maybe just played a little bit cautious, or maybe a little bit too reckless, rather. Just because he was on the offensive side and had the bomb.
6 kills in a row, so.
Absolutely, definitely has the cause for such, but looking right now with Felony just peeking with that bomb in hand, as just stun checking up in map room, not getting any information as of yet. Just for the opposite side though, T and Aquatic waiting on the other end as these first bloods meeting so much. It looks like T continuing on, doing work up top, and Felony actually catches the foot there of Aquatic and makes him pay for that, That's how powerful the Vector can be, and it looks like kills still going in the side of Hunnit's favor. And we'll see how T and ShamWow can potentially clutch up when they are currently a man down, but still on defense.
I think if you notice it, literally every single person in this game has been using a Vector, almost the exact same class. I think one time we saw a Remington on the side of Drafty, I believe, at the beginning, but these later rounds, everybody's kind of getting aggressive as OT gets taken down by Felony. And there we see it. The comeback is in order, I think.
Oh, it definitely is. Of course, being down 4 rounds to 1 is never easy for any team, but the side of Hunnit can definitely make comebacks look easy with the amount of talent they have on this roster. T, regardless, though, sitting at 10-5 after just 7 rounds of play, playing incredibly strong after that insane ace that we watched him get inside of that B side. Of course, continuing on, we'll see how the side of SandLot can try and close this one out. A desperate round needed if they want to win this one in a 2-0 fashion. Up close with that nade currently is Aquatic. Shuts down Blastful. ShamWow now making his way onto the site, trying to find the responding kills, but no. Actually, it is currently a 2-on-2 to make it a 1-on-2. Felony, last alive, has already received shots, so his position should be known, but still playing pretty aggressively right now on this A site at the moment. An offside hit seems that it, at least for now, has worked out, and it looks like T is going to get that bomb down right now.
T, again, 2 kills this round, going off 12-5. They got the bomb down. 2v1 should be very difficult for Felony to get this. He's peeking. As you can see, look at them stacked in green. Great strategy, looking back and forth, swaying back and forth, strafing. This should be almost impossible for Felony. Oh, he picks up 1 kill. He picks up the second. Doesn't spot him. Gets shots on himself.
Felony has been in this position so many times in the past. Up close and personal, but no, T is ready to be there. Very well played there from T to prone. Of course, knowing that additional ADS was getting ready to come in from Felony. And very well played as T has gone off in this map number 2. Currently sitting at 13-5. Incredible performance coming in from him. As it will be 5 rounds to 3. 1 more round needed for the SandLot to close this one out. And it kind of works out in SandLot ways. You know, in some cases, of course, the kind of underdog winning out, maybe. We'll have to see if it does come to fruition.
The underdog with the star player.
Yeah, the star player, indeed. See, T can respond, of course, already a man down. Similar position to where he was at in the round where he clutched out with the ace, but no, can't find anything other than that. Blastful there to shut him down. As it will be a 2v4 scenario. Drafty tossing out that nade, but nothing home. Aquatic on the other side is able to escape with his light. They're shutting down Felony. So a man disadvantage. And the bomb currently in Blastful's hands. That could be making this rotation over toward A here, Taylor. But rallied, still causing some pressure on B. Once that bomb does go down, he could be receiving some information, trying to get that one over to his teammates. But no, his life will be traded. And at the same time, it looks like Drafty was dropped as well. Aquatic now, his turn to clutch one out. 1-on-2 for him.
The same bomb side on A. It's almost the exact situation, except Blastful is in. This could be. This is the perfect setup by Hunnit. Almost impossible. I would not say impossible, but yeah, taken down. See, that's a great line of sight by Ferocities, as Blastful is kind of just chilling, waiting for the trade, and Ferocities comes and spots him coming through B-Dom.
Very well spotted out. Like I said, a good position to hold from the side of Hunnit, as they will clutch out, or at least hold, in that 2v1 position. Of course, potentially could be witnessing another round 11 if the side of Hunnit can do it. Or can the side of SandLot close this one out here in just 2 maps of play? Drafty with that sniper rifle out, not going to get any information. Quickly swaps back to that Remington. And we'll see how the damage will be done. It looks like a interesting push coming in. Looks like 2 players being Aquatic and OT toward that A site. And we could be seeing a wraparound potentially be coming in from Drafty just because of the very slow offensive push being made. And I'm curious if maybe if ShamWow is able to find the first blood, maybe a backup play would be kind of coming in. They could rotate that bomb through B-Dom. But looks like shots being exchanged toward that back A site. It looks like OTO will drop. At the same time, Blastful finding 2 big kills. Shuts down Aquatic as well. So an immediate 2v4. And on offense, you got to imagine that around 11 is getting ready to come up.
And there it is. Called it from the start. I was hoping for it. The round 11's here. Blastful on a 6-kill streak right now. Going off for his team on Hunnit. 9-7, 9-7, 6-7, 7-8. Very balanced across the board. But OT, he's at 13-7. Can he? Damn well though, 3-8. He might need to pick it up for this last round for them to take this series.
And it looks like the side of TheSandLot will also be on offense coming into this round. So back-to-back offensive rounds. Of course, when it comes down to overtime, it depends on kills, I believe. But regardless, moving forward, OTO up close and personal. Needs to find the first blood just to solidify something. But it looks like kills coming through. Rallied finding two, one with a nade. And it looks like on the opposite side, Aquatic finding one as well. And up close and personal gunfights are happening. But OTO showing his range. Felony finding one. And now Felony left in a 1v2 versus OTO and Aquatic. Spotting one from behind. Round 11, 1v1. If Felony wins this one, we're heading to a map number 3. But if Aquatic can clutch this one out, it would be a 2-0 victory in this series that would progress TheSandLot to round 2 of the Ghost 4v4 Search and Destroy. Aquatic does have that bomb in hand and currently does have a free sight right now on B. And once that bomb does go down, what's the play call for Felony? What's the angle that he tries to hold? What's the entry point that he goes for? And also, what's the opposite spot that Aquatic tries to hold? Is Felony making his rounds here?
It'll be interesting to see.
Checking every angle. Aquatic.
Felony kind of just looking for information at this point right now, at the beginning of this bomb site. Trying to see if he can peek him.
They could be meeting here very shortly. Aquatic holds the angle up close, but no! Felony is going to be there despite being ADS. Aquatic will drop, and Felony will be able to win out in a 1v2 here in round 11, as we will be seeing a map number 3 after back-to-back overtime maps. As OTO will finish off 14-8 despite the loss, and Felony, along with the Major 2 at the end, grabs 12 kills of his own. Major performances coming in from both Felony and OTO. Of course, toward the end, OTO was playing very well at the beginning, but at the end, at least, as far as things are considered, he started to slow down a little bit, kind of got made as far as those first bloods, and we also got to talk about ShamWow's performance. 3-9, Drafty 5-7. We talked about Drafty's performance in map number 1, how he needs to be a kind of like an all-star for this team. He obviously ends up going -2, along with Sham going -6. So very curious to see how map number 3 will play out. That was a pretty big comeback that we end up seeing in the end come through for the side of Hunnit. You got to imagine that they are going to be riding off of that momentum heading in toward S&D on Warhawk, which will be our next map. Feel free to obviously let us know your guys' predictions down in the chat right now. Of course, going to be a very interesting one to say the least. Will we see another overtime round 11, or will this thing be closed out here early? We'll find that out when we return. Welcome back, everyone, to the Ghost 4v4 Search and Destroy. Of course, a quick commercial break for one that we are very interested in hopping into. Of course, this one has seen 2 round 11s. Now map number 3 will be S&D on Warhawk between both TheSandLot and the side of Hunnit, as this series has definitely lived up to the hype that I personally didn't really think would be there. To be totally honest with you there, Taylor, I really personally thought that we would see this one be not a swift 2-0, but a fairly dominant, 6-3, maybe a 6-4 toward the side of Hunnit. But it has been the exact opposite of that. The side of TheSandLot has come out firing, but it's been all about comebacks for the side of Hunnit. That's how they've made their way to this current map number 3, based on a lot of comebacks and a lot of clutches that have come through, and overall a lot of consistency, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's a 1v1 Drafty versus Rallied. It should be interesting to see. Rallied's got an AR and Drafty has a sub. Drafty just completely abandoning the bomb right now. He's really just trying to get this kill on Rallied, as they're probably going to meet up very shortly.
Oh, and
he does spot him, and he gets a kill. That is the God timing for you. Right as you turn away, someone shoots you in the back.
Wow. Rather interesting play there coming in. Of course, kind of a risky play there from Drafty, but regardless, one that will go his way. Of course, finding a hat trick in round number 1. Similar plays that we saw in map number 1 coming in from Drafty. A hot start, as it seems the side of TheSandLot has really propelled themselves based off of all-star performances coming in from single players. Of course, only round number 1 in the books, and Aquatic has dropped yet again, this time for the first blood. OTO finding a responding kill. That one going to be on a Felony. But Blastful right now with that bomb in hand, making his way here by himself actually toward the B site. I say by himself, excuse me. Pharaoh actually holding this backside angle. We'll see if that push here toward that B site will work out for them or not. Of course, equal man count for the time being as they know exactly where one player is. Pharaoh comes around the corner. Can he finish off the kill? But OT is going to finish Ferocities off in the end, as it will now be Blastful and Rallied left in a position to clutch. Extra shots coming into the body as Drafty will let him know. Up to 4-0 right now, and Rallied is going to have to win this one, and he does not do that whatsoever. Drafty 5-0, 2 kills in this round, and a 3v1 that's not going to happen anytime soon for Rallied.
And Drafty off to another hot start, 5-0. He was off to a hot start on Sovereign as well. They're up 2 rounds to 0 again. Could we see a similar situation as we saw on Sovereign, or do you think that this time they're going to pull it all the way out?
To be honest, I really feel like this round is pretty important, I think, for the side of Hunnit, because it's like, is it really hype? Is it just the fact that the side of SandLot is playing much better? I think we see a major lead gained yet again from the SandLot. I think they do close it out. Just because of based off of like their mistakes they made. I'm pretty sure they can kind of rebound from those. I think everyone will start playing a little bit more consistently. But I think if we see in the next 2 rounds, if we start to see the side of Hunnit make a little bit of a comeback, I definitely think they have the possibility to win it. I'm personally going to say I'm going with Hunnit. I think for this map to take, I think they're a strong team, but I think this round is very, very important overall for their style. What are you thinking?
I mean, usually the first 2 rounds are kind of very predictable, as we saw. They went B both times. Lots of kills going down at the very beginning. But as you see, it's a 1v3 situation, and Rallied all by himself again. Gets a kill on a 1v2. 37 seconds left. Do you think he pulls this one out? And he doesn't. So they go down 3-0. They have to make a comeback once again. It's going to be interesting to see as OT gets the snipe on Rallied. But especially on Warhawk, B is that preferred site, right? Oh, yeah. And we see teams kind of push it at the very beginning, and then once the beginning rounds kind of end, they kind of switch it up. It becomes more random. So there's definitely a chance for a comeback. It's just going to be all up to kind of Ferocities and Blastful at this point, as they're 1-3 and 0-3.
And a pretty interesting push actually being made heading into this round number 4 for Aquanic. Does get spotted out from Rallied, so nice choice there for Rallied to pick him off coming in from that top drug area. So they at least find the first blood, one that is very important, at least as far as their map is considered. OTO responding with one on Rallied as well. So man disadvantage right now in favor currently of the side of Hunnit. OTO looking over toward that semi, and he actually speaks around at the worst timing possible, but shuts down Felony in the end. His life will be met inside of bricks, and that's where Drafty has to pick up the pace. 1v2, 27 seconds left to work with. The man who definitely could do it. Shot to Bloomington through the window. Can he get the hit markers? That's all he gets, and I don't think this one is going to be a clutch that is likely, as he will drop in a much-needed round for Hunnit. But yet again, Taylor, they do it.
I mean, we're seeing the exact same thing happen that happened on Sovereign. Hunnit goes down 2 or 3 maps. They're kind of like, what the heck are we doing? And then they turn around and they pick up a map. It'll be interesting to see what they can do on defense, because it seems like they're almost struggling on defense, as sometimes offense is usually the preferred side for a map like Warhawk.
Looking right now with Drafty. Swaps off of that sniper to put out that vector, and it looks like we could be seeing that wraparound coming here toward A, as shots coming in over on that B side. All baits, really, coming in for the most part. As Blastful should be realizing that, as far as he has currently pushed up his position. Should be realizing such, but just now it's left up to Rallied in a 1-on-3. Bomb goes down to the opposite site, and he should get pinched here. Players coming from all different angles, but a very interesting play that comes in from the side of SandLot. They send 2 toward that preferred site, which is normally going to be on B. However, it's all just a bait. It was all just a interesting play, really. And that bomb secretly makes its way over toward A, and the kills go down regardless. So the bait really wasn't needed as far as the gun skill was already there. But still, a very well-executed round, and one that ends out in a 3-on-1 advantage, which they counter on yet again. So 4-1 We've seen this happen before. This is a huge round if you are the side of Hunnit. You cannot let any more escape you. And it looks like Blastful checks over toward that A site. Should be swapping back to the Vector, and I believe he does. So we'll see how this offensive play gets made. As an early aggression being made from the side of SandLot. They want to close this one out here early, and Aquatic and ShamWow doing such. Rally, though, trying to respond. As it will now be a 2v2. Now make it a 1-on-2. As Drafty will be left all by himself, currently sitting inside a water tower. Player just toward his left. And should he get peeked out here from a player coming from Piggott. Most likely a bait and switch situation, but the stun comes out. And he could get granted with some good timing if that nade goes through. Only hit markers. Shots to the bomb, so he is able to find that one. Drafty playing this one very, very well. Can he find this one? Yes! Drafty plays that situation perfectly. The 1v2 in what seemed like an insurmountable comeback. The way that he was currently positioned at. Hops at a water tower, throws the nade, gets the hit markers. A very well played round there from Drafty. As he's doing it in map 3, just as he did it in map number 1. As he's propelled his team to a 5-1 advantage. One that I'd imagine, Taylor, this one should be insurmountable. I don't think that we see the side of Hunnit make this comeback. It would be a very interesting one, as Raleigh does find that first blood. However, many more first bloods, many more kills are going to be needed if we see the side of Hunnit force that round 11 yet again.
Well, we kind of said at the beginning of this matchup that Drafty was kind of the all-star player that they needed to pull through for them, and right now he really is. But it's a 1v3 situation. They're kind of making the comeback on this round as they take another round. I mean, 5-1 is always, that's slim none chance that you're going to come back. Yeah. But you never know when you have players that have played together for a long time on Ghosts, on S&D. They've played I see them playing all the time. Literally 24/7. Right. The chemistry is definitely there. I definitely think they have a chance to come back, but it's going to be hard, man. Drafty's playing out of his mind. OTO 7-4, Quantic 5-5. Everyone's kind of pulling their weight. Right. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get this bomb down and take control.
Absolutely. And if you are the side of SandLot, though, you cannot kind of play to your confidence when it comes down to this team. You got to play as if you're down. I think it's fair to say you cannot let yourself get overconfident. As the stuns are starting to come through, and Felony shuts down one, coming through Water Tower. Aggressive plays coming through, and Rallied actually going to be on somewhat of a flank for the most part. Behind these two players, knows exactly where the positioning of one should be, but no, he ends up getting dropped there. OTO finishing him off, as it will now be a 2v2. Blastful and Felony versus OTO and Drafty. Of course, Drafty the hot man when it comes down to this one, along with OTO actually, currently sitting at 8-4. Haven't really been able to highlight him too much, but playing well in back-to-back maps. As the bomb currently sitting in Blastful's hands, and OTO should be able to play this one fairly decently. As yes, the switch comes through, and Drafty will finish off the final two, as the victory here will go through toward the side of SandLot. As granted overtimes in our first two maps, but a dominant victory here in Warhawk to close us out, and one that I personally was not predicting, to be honest with you, Taylor. It was what, 2-0, or maybe even in the middle of a 3-0 advantage that we had for the side of SandLot, and I was still predicting the side of Hunnit. I really thought the veteranship was going to come in there, but no. Drafty, OTO, they go big yet again, and they close this one out in 3 maps.
You know, OTO had 22 kills combined, Sovereign and Warhawk. Unbelievable play out of him. And then, again, we talked about Drafty at the beginning. We said if he's one of those players for the side of SandLot, if he picks it up and he beats that all-star player that we've seen him in the past, they might take the map, they might take the entire series, and they come out on top on this one.
Absolutely do. Well, major shock, at least from my opinion, I think for at least quite a few of the viewers at home as well, that we end up waving goodbye to Blastful, Felony, Rallied, and Pharaoh. Names like that you do not expect to see knocked out this early, but still a very talented team on the opposite side in the SandLot. Drafty, Aquatic, OTO, all those guys came out to play. ShamWow didn't really see him have such a major performance as far as the series is considered. Very curious to see his performance as far as the future of this tournament is, for this team. Could definitely be the implications of how far they go in this tournament is based on his performance, but still strong performances coming in from especially Drafty and OTO throughout a lot of this one. I know you mentioned the amount of kills that OTO has in the past 2 maps was absurd numbers to say the least, but ones that had to go through if they wanted to beat a talented team like the side of Hunnit. Well, guys, we're going to head to a commercial break. Before we do that, I want to give a quick shout to our sponsors, as well as mention a giveaway that we're doing for the month of September. Shout to Origin PC, Acquire Clothing, Scuff Gaming, and Zowie, a brand by BenQ. Major thank you, of course, yet again to our sponsors for making tournaments like this one happen. Of course, like I said, live here from the UMG studio. And if you guys are interested in entering into a giveaway that we're actually doing here for the month of September, all you have to do is type in that chat, !giveaway, where you'll be greeted with a link where you can win a number of different prizes. We've got 2 copies of World War II, a UMG Scuff, UMG Prime, as well as UMG credits to be giving away. So if you guys are interested, feel free to obviously enter into that giveaway and try to test your potential chances at winning a lot of those awesome prizes heading into a very interesting season for World War II. Well, guys, we're into a commercial break. When we return, we've got another round here of the Ghost 4v4 S&D for September 26th. We'll be back.